Gold, hammered as thin as possible, is being applied to this lacquer-coated exterior wall. We are at Nikko Toshogu Shrine, a World Heritage Site in Nikko, Tochigi, Japan. The dazzling sparkle of the gold leaf, along with the elaborate, colorful carvings, give the shrine building its impressive feel. This restoration work uses a type of gold leaf produced in the city of Kanazawa through traditional techniques known as Entsuke gold leaf. The production process for Entsuke gold leaf, a crucial material for the restoration of national treasures and other cultural properties, earned UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage recognition in 2020.
伝統的なもので作ったもので修理するのが文化財の修理だと自分は思っているので、そういうことをやってくるうちはやっぱり金沢ワークを使い続けるべきだと思うんですよね。
The traditional Entsuke gold leaf can only be created through skilled artisanal technique. Today, most of the gold leaf made in Japan comes from Kanazawa. However, back in the day of the samurai, gold leaf production was prohibited outside of Kyoto and the capital city of Edo. A major turning point came when the Kaga domain set out to rebuild the Ninomaru Palace of Kanazawa Castle, which had been destroyed in a fire. This called for an enormous amount of gold leaf, estimated at 160,000 sheets, so the Kaga domain began producing gold leaf locally, as the shogunate had relaxed its control over the production of gold leaf. The rebuilt Ninomaru Palace of Kanazawa Castle was itself destroyed in a later fire, but work is currently underway to restore it. Analysis of historical documents has revealed that the interior of the palace was lavishly decorated with large amounts of gold leaf.
城郭建築の中に金壁障壁画というものを描いて威勢を誇る、そしてそこでいろいろな儀式が行われるわけですが、夜間にも行事が行われ宴会が行われると、その際に金は百名ろうそくとかこう立てますとね、素晴らしい奥行きの出る永遠のこう空間を演出できるんですよね。それが二の丸金沢城にも継承されて、でその空間で使う工芸品にはやはりふさわしい金をたくさんふんだんに使ったものとか、いろんなものが登場してくる。
After the reconstruction of the Ninomaru Palace of Kanazawa Castle, the shogunate retightened their grip on gold leaf production. And for a time, Kanazawa's gold leaf artisans had to work in secret. However, as gold leaf production in Edo and Kyoto declined later in the 19th century, Kanazawa inherited the traditional method of making gold leaf, called Entsuke gold leaf. The Entsuke gold leaf production process involves a number of steps. First, artisans called zumia take care of the initial steps. Their work is then passed to artisans called hakuya, who take care of the rest. Zumia artisans produce metal hammered out to just 1/1000th of a millimeter thick, called uwazumi. First, pure gold is mixed with small amounts of silver and copper. This combination changes the color and feel of the metal. The alloy is heated to roughly 1,300 degrees Celsius to melt it, then repeatedly passed through a rolling machine to roll it out to 1/20th of a millimeter thick. Next, these sheets are cut into 5-centimeter squares, sandwiched one by one between sheets of craft paper, and hammered out in bundles of approximately 200 layers. The gold is then transferred to new sheets of craft paper and hammered out further. The gold is then flattened to 1/1000th of a millimeter thick through 4 more processes, known in Japanese as koppei, aragane, koju, and ooju. The most important part of making gold leaf is making paper. This saying among artisans shows how their focus is more on making paper properly than on the hammering process itself. The smoothness of the paper allows the gold leaf to be hammered out even thinner. The paper used by zumia artisans is called zumi-uchi-gami. This washi paper takes a week to make, using rice straw cores and kozo paper mulberry as raw materials. First, the paper is soaked in water and then squeezed out. Next, sheets of wet paper are placed into a stack of dry paper. They are left to rest overnight to allow the moisture to spread throughout. After the paper has been evenly moistened, it is placed in a machine and beaten. This makes the paper stick together, so the sheets are peeled apart one by one. The process of beating and peeling is repeated many times, until eventually the paper surface becomes smooth and shiny. The artisan's patience is rewarded with paper that can be used to flatten out gold to its very limit. After the ooju process is completed, the excess gold is trimmed off to shape it. Sets of 150 sheets are cut into 20-centimeter squares and folded into thirds, creating the finished uwatsumi. Hakuya artisans are responsible for the final steps of the gold leaf production process. Here, too, the paper used for gold leaf production plays an important role. Preparing the paper takes much longer than the process of hammering out gold into gold leaf. The washi paper used is made from a mixture of a shrub called gampi and a special type of soil. This washi is then made into haku-uchi-gami, or gold beating paper, through a number of steps. The first step is to remove dust and impurities. Next, sheets of the paper are stacked together and rotated into a chrysanthemum flower arrangement. Next, sheets of the paper are placed between moistened layers of handmade washi paper called shirobuta. A sheet of shirobuta goes between every 10 to 20 sheets of the gold beating paper, and the moisture from the shirobuta soaks into the gold beating paper. The moistened gold beating paper is then beaten with a machine. Each sheet is then peeled apart, one by one. This process of beating and peeling is repeated about 20 times until there is no moisture left and the paper no longer sticks together. Next comes the aku process. Straw is burned, and cool or hot water is poured over the embers. The liquid this produces, called akujiru, is then mixed with other ingredients like eggs and persimmon tannins. Persimmon tannins strengthen the paper, and the eggs make it smooth. The gold beating paper is soaked in the akujiru mixture. After the paper is given enough time to soak it up, the paper is firmly pressed out with a rolling pin. The paper is placed out in stacks of a few sheets to dry. It is then beaten with a machine while still somewhat moist. This process, from soaking in akujiru to beating the paper, is called hitoaku. Artisans repeat this process 5 times or more, crushing the paper fibers to produce washi paper that can be used to make gold leaf with uniform thickness. In many ways, the paper-making process is the heart of gold leaf production.
金箔を作り出すための道具作りっていうかね、それがその箔打ち師さんの大きな使命だと、あるいはそこにその腕があるということになるかと思います。紙作りがその使命っていいますかね、そこでいい紙を仕込めるかどうかということが金箔の製造の要になっていくということですね。
Each piece of uwazumi gold is cut into about 10 pieces by hakuya artisans. This process, called zumikiri, helps even out the final weight of the gold leaf. At this point, the Japanese name of the gold beating paper changes, going from haku uchigami to komagami. Each piece of gold is hammered out using the gold beating machine into a roughly 10-centimeter square. This process is called komauchi. The result is called koma and is then transferred to paper called mamagami. It is then beaten further until it is just 1/10,000th of a millimeter thick. The final step is called hakuutsushi, or transferring the gold leaf. The gold leaf is cut to a standardized size using traditional tools handmade by artisans. Gold leaf made using these traditional techniques is finally placed onto sheets of slightly larger backing paper, leaving a margin around it on the edges, framing the gold leaf. This is why it is called Entsuke, literally framed gold leaf.
金沢でも400年以上の歴史があって、全国的に見たらもっと前からあるわけで、ある意味文化財も含めた中でのそういう歴史の中でその文化の一翼になってきたっていうのは事実。ある意味そういう意味ではすごく世界の金箔とは違うっていう魅力は持ってると思います。
The luster of gold has appealed to people since ancient times. In Japan, it has long been used for many purposes by making it as thin as possible without losing its luster. The techniques of Entsuke gold leaf have been developed and handed down for centuries. It is a material that has evolved beyond traditional uses, from tableware to furniture and even to the world of art, shared by Kanazawa with the world.